and welcome back to Split Image Press. My name is Toby Noir, and I'm going to be representing our author collaboration group through the month of November. I am the only one currently in our group participating in NaNoWriMo, so I have volunteered to do these videos to keep you updated and to hold myself accountable. And it is now the second week. We have passed the second week of NaNoWriMo, and sad to say, I have not been very productive still. I still have a lot of other things that I am working on at the same time. So I'm at a little over 2,000 words. It's not great, but I have made myself sit down and write on my Nano project at least a little bit every day, even if it's only a sentence or two. So, I mean, I consider that a win personally for myself. I've never gone this length of a time writing on something every single day. So I'm proud of myself for that, even if I don't have a very high word count. So last week, I told you a little bit about what my story was about, and this week I want to talk about how I outline. I used to be a pantser, which is, no plan at all. You just start typing and see where it goes. And I would always peter out about chapter 4 or 5. I ran out of steam and I didn't know where I was going. And the storyline had kind of, wiggled all over the place and didn't really make linear sense anymore. So after doing that for several years and never being able to accomplish much of anything, I decided to give plotting a try. And it has really helped for me. It keeps me on track. It reminds me of where I wanted to go in the story, and has done a lot to help me actually finish the projects that I start. So it's been a wonderful experience for me. I know not everyone can do it. Some people prefer to just fly by the seat of their pants and go wherever their inspiration takes them, and that's wonderful. It doesn't work for me. Let me walk you through my process of outlining. I kind of took all the different templates that they have available and made my own. It's sort of like a 3-act, but then it also has some hero's journey, some other titles I can't remember. There's like a million different templates, and I kind of made my own based off of that. So I work on my word count goal first. I decide how long I want the story to be, which is generally I aim for 75,000 words. If it goes over that, fine. I try not to go under, because then you're kind of getting really close to novella status, and I like to try to keep it in a novel. So 75,000 words, and I break that down into about 15 chapters. Again, that is flexible. Everything about my template and the way I outline is very flexible, because you never know when another idea is going to hit you, or one scene ends up way longer than you thought it would be, and, rather than try to strictly adhere to these little rules, I just kind of use my outline as a bare skeleton that I build upon. So of those 15 chapters, I break that down. Each chapter I break down into 3 scenes. So chapter 1, which is the beginning, your intro, my 3 scenes are going to be introducing the main character, throwing their call to action in there and their reaction to that. And, so that usually that all happens in chapter 1. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 chapters. It depends on how in-depth the story is, how many characters I have to introduce and whatnot. For 20 to Unlife with Gasper, that is you get an introduction to his normal life, the disruption of his life, and this call to action, all in the first chapter, because it's kind of a faster pace. And, the whole point for this book is about the vampire culture, so I need to hurry up and make him one pretty quick. So he's only a regular mortal for one scene, the opening scene in the book, and after that he's a vampire. And that just, gets to the point and moves on. So I do that throughout the entire outline, have, chapter, 3 scenes, next chapter, 3 scenes. And once I have it all filled out, then I'll go back in and I'll look it over. Are some scenes going to be really long and I need to move another one to another chapter? Are some going to be really short? I try to adjust it depending on how I think it's going to be when it's written. And so a lot of times, even though I start out writing down 15 chapters, it often becomes like 17 chapters or 20 chapters. Very rarely have I cut it down to, 13 or 14 chapters. It's usually always lengthens. But 15 gives me a really good base to make sure I hit all my plot points. It allows me to make sure that there's enough action, that there's enough, you have to have character bonding, character growth, rising and falling action, that all the main points of the plot are taken care of, and that there are subplots to have some side interest going on and allow you to fully develop the side characters as well. But I leave a lot of room for growth or to change my ideas. The one thing I really love about the outlines and being able to do this, besides the flexibility, is that it really reminds me where I'm going. So I can start chapter 1, in one day, and then something happens, I get distracted, or other things crop up and I don't write on it for a while. If I come back to it 3 months later, I know exactly where chapter 2 is supposed to start at and where to go from there because it's all written down in my outline. It has done a lot for cutting down on my plot bunnies. I am a little ADD, and that is not just in my life, that is also in my writing. And, so sometimes I'll get off track in the character dialogue will get off track and start meandering, and then the characters themselves will start meandering, and I have to swing them all the way back around. But with this outline, I don't have to swing them around. I can notice right away when I'm starting to wander, and I can put a stop to it right then and there and get right back on their journey. I completely lost track of what I was talking about. I was talking about outlining, and wow. If you've always had trouble writing and keeping on track and actually finishing your novel, I would definitely suggest you try an outline. There are many blogs and websites all over the internet and right here on YouTube that can walk you through their personal process and help you. You can use note cards, like index cards, and write each scene on an index card and then arrange it how you think it fits best, and you can just move it around however you want until it looks like a proper storyline. You can do it in a Word document. You can do it on paper. I start my outline process on paper, and once I've kind of gone through a rough draft of that, then I put it into a Word document. And then I usually just leave it in a Word document, but if I'm making a series binder, then I'll print it out and put it in a series binder. Notes that I put in outline is I don't put too much effort into a lot of notes in the outline because that's what my draft is for, but I will jot down like bits of dialogue that I think of that I really want in the book, little plot twists that happen or certain things that I really want to happen. I'll write them down in the chapter that they're supposed to happen in so I won't forget. If I don't know what scene they're going to happen in, then I'll put it in a blank space all the way at the bottom, and then I'll just work it in wherever it seems to fit the best. I don't spend a lot of time on my outline. I will do maybe 1 or 2 days doing an outline, and that's it. I mean, after that, I'm usually ready to go. It doesn't take that long at all. And that's just because, the first day is just doing the rough draft, and the second day is polishing it and making it look consistent and logical, and there's enough action to make an entire book out of it. So if you are a pantser or a plotter, I would like to know. Please leave your comment below if you have any questions. I would love to answer them. You can follow along with me on my blog. I will link that below. Also, you can be my buddy on NaNoWriMo. Maybe together we can get a few more words out. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful to you. Thank you for joining us, and you have a wonderful day.